Number two, other risks. So safety. In the West, a lot of us assume that a shaman is a good person. A shaman is the wise elder of a tribe, or a shaman is somebody who's very spiritually aware. And it's not true. A shaman, in essence, is just someone who understands how ayahuasca works. A shaman is someone that was trained in the use of this tool, of this plant spirit. So in the same way, you can teach someone how to use a knife and they can become amazing chefs and create the most delicious and beautiful pieces of culinary art, or they can wield it to stab people, right? You can have a very proficient person do good or do bad. You can have lawyers that make sure that justice is served, and you have the ones that ensure that people who are corrupt do not bear any punishment or consequences for their wrongdoings. And like this in every profession. So if you remember this, you will pay more attention, and you will know that in the jungle is very different from the cities. They're more in contact with nature, and as such there's also we call it the law of the jungle in Colombia. And is the bigger animal eats the smaller one. And this is a way in which cultures have evolved over the years. And what it does is that there's a lot of envy, there's a lot of pride and ego, spiritual ego, among the ayahuasca traditions. There's a lot of comparison between the ones that serve yahe and ayahuasca and the huni and the santo daime, and the ones that do it in a more modern way, and the ones that follow strict ancestral guidelines. Without further elaboration on this, you may come to a tribe and think that people are serving you something that is going to be medicine. But there are shamans that do not like white Westerners coming in and drinking this sacred medicine. So they'll mix something in your brew. We call them brujos in Colombia, which is another word for black magicians or witchcraft practitioners. They'll mix something in your brew to make sure that maybe you get right to the edge of your breakthrough, right to the edge where you felt you were going to solve and resolve all of your life. And then you come down, and then you feel that you need to get it, and then you have to come back and come back and come back, and they ensure that they enslave you. You become a well-paying client that they can keep there as long as they keep just a little bit distance from the healing that you desire. On the other hand, this happens a lot in Peru, Costa Rica, Colombia. There's some shamans that just do not like the Westerners to drink the medicine. So when they come, they receive them, but they put a conjure, praying, a blessing, or more like a curse in your medicine, in which the person ends up experiencing massive depression, schizophrenia, paranoia afterwards. They feel tormented. And this is a form of spiritual sabotage. So what they're giving you there is not medicine but poison. And this happens especially in the jungle, not so much when you are in a city or near to a city. Something else is that, especially in Peru and some places in Colombia, there have been reports of women being abused, raped during the ayahuasca ceremonies. And a shaman is a human being with a lot of flaws like you and I. And what happens is that some of them, their flow goes around sexuality. And being under the influence of ayahuasca, you're very, very vulnerable. So sometimes they'll do the same. They'll mix something so that the patient faints or falls asleep. And then they'll provide a magic healing, a private healing session with their magic wand, And the next day, especially this happens to women, there's a lot of conflict and severe trauma because they went to a place to deal with something that was already challenging, and they come out of there more abused, more victimized, more hurt. So the other risks are that you end up with a brujo, with an occultism practitioner, a witch, a black magician, and they just mix you drink that ends up enslaving you to the process. Or that you go to a place where you're not safe and the person or the people supposed to take care of you actually take advantage of you. So before I continue, how to avoid going into the hands of someone who has ill intentions towards you. Well, you do your research. Hopefully there's somebody that you trust around them. You ask questions. Maybe you have had friends that have gone there over time and that have had positive experiences. But above all, trust your judgment, trust your gut feeling. Look into the eyes of the people that are working there. Look at how they talk, how they express themselves, how they carry themselves. Look into the eyes of your shaman or into the pictures. Look into their faces, and you can clearly see the people that are working around these kind of practitioners that create more pain, more chaos, more trauma. You can see that there's a certain darkness that you can notice. The opposite is also true. People who support and work with shamans who are doing a work towards the healing of life, towards the support of a bigger and more beautiful experience of life, usually their eyes look very, they spark, they feel light. You can feel the love, the peace, the harmony within their hearts. So if you look at the shaman and it looks scary, it's probably not the person for you, because a wise spiritual being exudes love, even from a photo. So do your research, please.
Agradeciendo